despite what this album's title is, I think it brought a lot of people closer together than Ed Sheeran probably thought. Divide is the third studio album released by Ed Sheeran. This, my friends, is where this series changes up big time. Ed's first two albums, I like to slight degrees. I think that there are great singles in them, and I think that there are little flaws and nitpicks that I happen to acknowledge. Even though I'm pretty confident, I consider myself an Ed Sheeran fan. Now, I'm not saying always third time's the charm. Number 3 isn't always the right one. But in this case, Sheeran got it right, man. Flip. Man, this album is good. Now, many of you probably know this album best from his song Shape of You. Now, I like that song. I don't really find much wrong with it. But if you're asking me which song should have been a bigger hit from a musical standpoint, it's got to be Castle on the Hill, man. Ed just really grounded that song into a reality we could all believe in, and that we all aspire for these adventures with friends and in these locations that probably we could call near our homes, or at least in a place that we had imagined was home-like. I'm glad that starting off with these two marketed singles, that they worked out well. I can understand if some people got fed up with Shape of You later on, because it was on the Billboard charts for a really, really long time, and in very much the very high positions still. Now, personally, again, I don't have a problem with that song. I just happen to think it's slightly more pop than we're used to having Ed Sheeran be, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, as long as we are kind of keeping him in his area. And the good news is, I think he harnessed a little bit more of what his strengths are and worked on the things that I personally have kind of had an issue with before. Before I go into that, I do want to mention the song Perfect. It's gorgeous. It's glorious. Chorus is perfect. And he has so many interesting remixes or remakes of this song. Particularly the one with Andrea Bocelli. It is so gorgeous. Now I'm going to bring this up. Notes. I have way too many things to say that I can't just fly off the top of my head. I will have some, but I got to read these to get these ideas out, because there is so much goodness in this album that I must address. Let's keep going on after Perfect. Let's see. Galloway Girl. Even paced, Irish strings, love it. The song Happier, it's full of painful yet genuine, friendly love for another to be doing better. The song New Man, that's a mischievous girl story right there. Okay, here's the one where I have had the problems. The rapping. The fast rhyming and all this other things that he happens to do really quickly, and how it mixes well with the music and all that. Yeah. Anyway, the idea is somehow he pulls it off here for me. I think some of it is the lyricism, but I think the way that the tempo and his personal pace of the rapping goes is artistic. So I think it flows well together. The song Supermarket Flowers, it's a grandma song. A good one. a good grandma song. I particularly liked Barcelona, a very even-paced song. Happens to have a saxophone in it too. And the song, I think, should have been marketed as a single, but it's okay that it wasn't. It's alright that it's a deeper track. Bibi ya bi yi ye. Bibi ya bi yi ye. Bibi ya bi yi ye. I mean, doesn't that title alone just make you smile? I honestly don't really have much to quarrel with this album. I don't know how this came about, if there was any hyper-focus or anything, but there's something bright that kind of just took over, and he moved forward with it and solidified it really well. I do want to mention a few things with recognition of this album. Ed did win Best Pop Solo Performance for The Shape of You. He also won Best Pop Vocal Album Grammy for this album. And yet, for some reason, I don't know where the voting lied with this, but it wasn't nominated for Album of the Year. Now, okay, that could be a stretch for some people. I don't know. But wasn't it really popular that year? Like, I'm just a little shocked it wasn't a nominee. I'm not saying it needed to win, but I'm kind of surprised it wasn't up there. Just personal opinion. I mean, I did look into it, and it is the most sold album of 2017, at least in regards of units. But I mean, he probably won a lot of things already. So, yeah, he got all that. Good for him. Good for Ed Sheeran. And with that, I have one more thing to say. After having listened and reviewed this album, with production of 100%, creativity 95%, expression and lyrics 94%, this album gets a yes. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Like two. One's a mini. This is something that I'm going to try to do anytime that I deem an album a yes album. I am going to try to get the physical copy. This isn't limited to just yes albums, but I feel like I definitely should have those. It's like having a little trophy, in a way. Yes, I'm a little giddy. Yes, I'm a little dorky. Yes, I'm a little bit of a crazy music guy. Don't judge me. For me, this is Ed's crowning jewel. It really is. Mate, you should be proud of yourself. You really should. Thank you for bringing this album. I know tons of people who loved it, and I'm one of those people as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, remember to subscribe and follow all the social media for this channel so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time.